We got more insane Americans on the street. It never ends. Let's take a look at this clip of how Americans react to what's going on in the Middle East. I'm Tal, the traveling Clat, your favorite Zionist prince.
Here in Seattle, right behind us, we have a pro-Iranian protest that says no war in Iran protest going on here. Once again, we're here in Seattle today. We're talking to protesters and confronting them. We're like asking them what they're protesting for, what their stance is on this potential war. How are you guys doing? What's the sign say? What's the sign say? No war on Iran. Arms embargo on Israel now. What does arms embargo on Israel now mean?
It basically means to stop supplying arms and weapons to Israel.
Whose war do you think this is?
I really wonder, by the way, at this point, do they not know that anybody who's going to be interviewing them at one of these protests is probably like a conservative slash middle of the ground slash probably exposing them for their stupidity? Do they not? Are they not aware of this? Like, how many liberals and leftists are out interviewing protesters at their like? Do they not know? Have they not gotten the message? I'm always shocked that even one person speaks.
Or do you think there should be a war going on?
I don't think there should be a war going on. All this is doing is killing innocent civilians.
Does it concern you? Because if Iran does have a nuclear weapon, does that concern you?
They don't, so it doesn't concern me.
They don't.
Okay.
They don't anymore.
Evidence leads you to think they do not have a nuclear weapon.
They are part of a treaty that they don't have one, so yeah. I also don't really want to be interviewed, so
okay, no worries. Thank you so much for your time. Alright, we're gonna walk through here. Look, we have.
Here's the reaction I was looking for coming up here.
Any imperialist war that occurs, but that's all we really have to say.
Okay, why do you think Israel, and there's always so much conflict in the Middle East, what do you think causes that?
Are these the violent criminals he speaks of?
Why? Okay, never mind. Alright, let's move out here. We got some people.
Those are the kind of reactions I
How
was
you doing, sir?
thinking.
What brings you out here today?
I don't want war.
Just letting you know, we do have a press liaison, so if you're willing to give the interview, that's totally fine, but I wanted to let them know we have people to give interviews if they're looking for one, so yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm not really with anyone in particular. I'm just here by myself, and I just don't want war. I think world has enough problems. We need to be working together and trying not to like destroy infrastructure and people's lives. You know, seems rather wasteful when we have all these other problems.
Do you think Iran poses a threat to Israel and to the United States?
I mean, sure, there's the potential for a threat, but I think we need to be doing things peacefully.
And what would you like them to do?
I would like people, like in the world in general, to just collaborate better, to make more genuine efforts to understand each other's struggles and work on like keeping human society alive through what's going to be some really tough decades, even if there's no war.
That's possible.
I'd like to try.
Like to try. And Donald Trump did say he was working to try to get a nuclear deal signed for a very long time, and then Iran never wanted to stop their nuclear bomb building.
Like, I don't know the details of like what he was actually trying. I do know that he left the old nuclear deal that they had, but I don't think that, you know, let's say he did say for 60 days, 61 days, whatever it was, that he had wanted them to like stop all their nuclear production, and then they didn't. I still don't think it's right to suddenly start bombing them. I think we need to find another path. I think we need to maybe make more open pressure. Maybe he was doing that privately. Maybe we need to have more talks with the UN or something. And
He's a sweet lad, but he won't survive in the Middle East. You know, this kind of person, this ideology doesn't last a very long time in our region, because unfortunately we're dealing with Hooga Booga cave people, not the Iranian population. Yeah, the Islamic regime of Iran, they're Hooga Booga. They're like this. They bat on these are gorillas. These are glorified gorillas, chimpanzees. Even chimpanzees and gorillas have a little bit more compassion than the Islamic regime of
they're
Iran.
not going to like Israel. And so I don't think in terms of a long-term strategy, attacking Iran is a good idea.
Okay, that's a bad idea. That's a bad take. Let's see what this little nutter has to say.
Intelligent lady. I will give it to her. Let's see, what do we got here today? How you doing, sir?
I'm doing okay. How you doing?
Doing great. What brings you out here today?
Well, actually, my brother and I are going to a concert at Merrimore Park, and this is where I'm meeting him.
Oh.
And it just so happened to be that there's a protest going on, and I'm kind of interested in knowing more about it.
Do you think the United States should go to war with Iran?
Probably not. The U.S. is kind of like the king of wars, and seems to be a pattern.
We do always get ourselves into war somehow, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't get ourselves in another war.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I just know that war in general is bloody. It's emotionally and physically traumatizing, so if it's going to happen, we need a pretty damn good reason for it. And from what I've read today, there is no evidence that Iran is planning on using nuclear weapons against Israel, just like there was never any proof of weapons of mass destruction during the Second Gulf War.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
It's gonna be.
Is this going to be on TV?
Yeah, you're live right now.
Okay, do you know what channel?
It's Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Okay.
Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think Iran has a nuclear weapon or not? Because that's like the whole entire premise of if the United States gets in this war or not.
By the way, before we continue, go subscribe to Nick Shirley on YouTube. Support the lad out here making content while I sit lazy at home and just react to it. Definitely go. I'm kidding. I do work out in the world. You guys know I do. I've done this kind of stuff before. But definitely go subscribe to Nick Shirley. Let's support the people who are reacting to their content actively. Please go check out their channel.
You know, what I did want to ask you guys, before I start protesting and then later think, what if I'm wrong? If it did have a nuclear weapon, do you think there would be a better solution than war?
Probably need to stop the nuclear weapon, right?
Yeah.
Before it gets sent to you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt that it's a lie. I wouldn't jump to conclusion. But we want war to be a last resort. Do we need?
But do you see what I've been saying here? Americans are not bad people. Even some of the most far left Americans, they're not bad people. These are people with actual genuine good intentions. They just have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Like, they don't. The thing is, because they just found out about the Middle East this week, they think that they're experts on everything that's going on. But they just found out where the region was. Or sorry, they don't know where the region is. They just found out the region exists this week. They just found out this week that there's a thing. There's a region here with a bunch of people outside of America. And this isn't to say that Americans are stupid. It's just a lot of Americans are well-intentioned people. They just don't understand what it takes to survive in this region, especially as a minority. Imagine we are a minority state amongst a supremacist empire. An Arab Islamic supremacist empire. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine for a second? We're akin to the Native Americans who live inside of the USA. Luckily, America, the United States of America, and Native Americans have, and I'm not going to say it's perfect, and you can never fix that, what has happened there in the past, but they have evened out that relationship to a certain extent where the lives of Native Americans aren't under constant stress or constant death or imminent death, risk of death for their lives. In Israel, we are, yeah, but
people to get killed to prevent a few deaths.
Yeah. Right now, the way the United States would get into it, from my understanding, is if because Iran has this place where this nuclear facility underneath this mountain, and it's I want to say it's 300 feet deep underneath. Not quite sure exactly, but I know it's a couple hundred feet deep. And the United States had this bomb called the Bunker Buster.
The Bunker Buster.
Yeah, so it'd be sent over in it'd be sent over in a jet, and then it would go penetrate into the ground, and then it would essentially destroy their nuclear facility that's underneath this mountain.
Palestinians, facial recognition, and AI to them, and then they just train American cops and then use it on.
Let's see. Let him talk for a second.
You guys want to talk?
Yeah, I wonder if we can see this guy has a lot of information, opinion on what's going on. We were trying to see.
I can give you my opinion.
What do you think is going to happen?
With Iran?
Yeah.
I think unfortunately.
Is it Iran? Iran?
It's Iran.
Iran.
Yeah.
So Iran.
Yeah. I think unfortunately Trump is gonna go to war, but I think it's gonna be a bad decision, and it's gonna going to ruin the world. I think it's going to ruin the U.S. too before anyone else.
In what ways would it ruin the U.S., do you think?
Well, I think it's going to be very expensive. It's going to kill a lot of Americans. It's going to destroy a lot of American bases in the region. And at the end of it, it's going to be more destructive than the Iraq War.
Do you think this would be more destructive than the Iraq War?
100%. Iran is a bigger country, has more people, and it has at this point it has more military capabilities than Iraq did in 2003. So there is no reason to believe that it's going to be in any way less destructive.
How long do you think a war would last for? I've talked to veterans, and they say that this would be more precision attacks, like it would not essentially even be a war.
Isn't that what they said in 2003?
I was alive then, but I was 2 years old. So
I mean, I was also not that old, but like I've read and I've seen what they said, and they said the same thing. They said it's going to be a quick war, persistent strike. We're going to be in and out.
They were trying to find Osama bin Laden. They didn't find him until Obama was president.
Exactly.
George Bush did not do a very good job.
I mean, I don't think any of them did a good job. Not Obama, not George Bush, not Biden. No one did a good job with foreign policy, in my opinion, in this country. But ultimately, they said the same thing about Iraq. They said we're going to be in and out. There's this? You can look this up. There was this. It's a meme actually now, where like Bush stood on this like ship and had like a big banner says like, "We did it, mission accomplished," and declared victory in 2003. Like within like a month or two, I think. I don't remember exactly, but it within like immediately after the war, he said like, "We did it. We took out Saddam. Iraq is liberated. Mission accomplished. We're ready to go." And then 10 years later, they're still there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a bad war.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people like are disgraced by how long the United States continued to fight for that war. And like Dick Cheney, he's a warmonger, and there's even theories that like they created the war so they could be making money off the war.
100%. And I think that's what's happening here too. And ultimately, but I feel like even if it is a short war, it's ultimately, in my opinion, it's an immoral war, right? Like, why are we going to war with Iran, spending millions of dollars, trillions of dollars even potentially, when we have people here who are homeless? And when Trump is trying to cut Medicaid and Medicare for people and trying to cut social benefits here, Israel has free healthcare. Do you know that? Mm-hmm. We pay them billions of dollars a year. They get free healthcare. We don't.
Yeah,
right?
There's definitely a lot of things that are like weird about the
Okay, let's just correct that real quick. You don't pay Israel billions of dollars a year. You give Israel weapons contracts that they have to buy weapons from the United States of America. Goes directly back into the American weapons manufacturing industry. All the money, you don't give Israel money. You give them discounts on weapons contracts where they have to purchase weapons from America. That's it. You don't give them anything else. That's it. I mean, there's little aid programs and stuff like that, but Israel's not a poor country. It's not like Egypt or Jordan where there's actual aid going in. Again, there's exceptions. There is small aid, but the majority of the aid, the billions of dollars you give Israel, is weapons contracts. Israel has free healthcare. Well, not really free. You do pay into it. Israel's healthcare system works because it's a socialized healthcare system. And mind you, as somebody who lives here, it's not the greatest system in the world. Some people will praise it, but it's really not that great. My grandpa pretty much died because the system was not that good, because they didn't catch his cancer early on enough, and it's not. It is definitely not a system that I would be like, this is the best healthcare system in the world. There's a lot of improvement to be made in it.
Relationship between the United States and Israel. Like, I don't think anyone can question that.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
And there's weird things with a lot of relationships the United States have. Like, why do we give Ukraine so much money? Why do we give them billions of dollars? Meanwhile, we had money here.
Yeah,
billions of dollars. Why did Hunter Biden?
Why do we give Pakistan hundreds of billions of dollars for gender studies? We should be asking those questions. Why do we give Egypt and Jordan money? Why do we give Syria money? Why do we give countries that undermine us money? Tell me. Probably a better question to ask than why we give Israel weapons contracts.
Energy fields in Ukraine. Like,
I 100%
what the
agree.
heck was going on right there?
Corruption.
You know what I mean?
Like, sorry, I have to chime in on this again. Like, if you can't make the differentiation between giving millions of dollars to Pakistanis to learn about gender and giving your only proper ally in the Middle East that basically you can use as another defense posture in the Middle East to defend yourself and defend the world, NATO allies, whatever it be, as basically another base, a country that kisses the ground you walk on for the most part. People in Israel love the United States of America, are so appreciative of the relationship we have with the United States of America. Can you not understand the beneficiary relationship that you have by giving discounted weapons contracts to Israel? It's not like you're giving money. You're helping a state survive in a region, a minority, Jewish people are a minority in the Middle East because it's been taken over by Islamic Arabist supremacist society. You're supporting a minority state in the Middle East to protect itself and to protect your interests in the Middle East, which are, and again, I don't like representing Israel as this, but liberalism, democracy as close as we can to equal and human rights, as close as we can given the shitty region that we live in and the region that constantly wants to go to war, especially with us. Can you not understand the beneficiary relationship? I always wonder this about the woke right and the leftists. I'm like, what is it that you don't understand? Like, I don't like plastering everybody with Jew hater, anti-Semite, whatever. Like, fuck it. Maybe you don't hate Jewish people. Maybe you don't even know what that means to hate Jewish people. Maybe you haven't even processed what it means to be anti-Semitic. I'll give you it. I don't think you're like openly being anti-Semitic. But maybe you're just fucking stupid. Maybe you're just retarded. It could be that you're just a fucking dumb human being. And sometimes I don't even think about that. I'm like, can you not make the differentiation between aligning with your interests, yes, they are your interests, and giving hundreds of millions of dollars to Pakistan for gender studies? They end up fucking a goat anyway, so where it doesn't. Okay, that was a little racist. That was a little bit racist on my end, but I don't like Pakistan. Everybody knows this. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm gonna end before I say anything stupid. I love you guys a long time. Goodbye, class. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.